On this channel, I've been covering Depp vs. Heard for around 2.5 years now, something like that, and it seems like there was a lot of energy and a lot of people supporting Johnny, and there still is, but I'm saying more so before this trial. And after the trial, I think some people were kind of like, well, it's over now, Johnny won, we could go home now, which unfortunately is not the attitude that's the right way to go just yet. Maybe someday that will be. The media stops reporting on it. The media stops smearing Johnny. Johnny's actually back into his career in the same way he once was. Now things are looking up, don't get me wrong, but we don't have acknowledgement from the big companies yet in any way, shape, or form, like Warner Bros. And Disney. Also, it seems like some Johnny fans are kind of running out of steam, which is what I want to talk about. This is really not something that you do for a little while and then it gets resolved. This is one of those things that is now going to last forever. This case is historical. It's out there. It'll be there probably long after we all will. In the same way, famous political cases don't actually go away. The ruling stays out there, and people study it and use it for examples forever. Also, this is similar to what I went through with the Star Wars franchise. There are big differences. The Star Wars franchise is not a person like Amber is. However, Lucasfilms, Disney, and the mainstream media treated the Star Wars fans exactly like they're treating the Depp fans when they put out criticism. Trolls, sexist, misogyny, dangerous, the whole thing. It's exactly the same. And it's been going on since about 2016. Now, of course, it's settled down, but it'll never really go away. And some of those fans, including myself, have kind of pulled back. I'll always have the opinion I have that the Star Wars movies got woke, the main characters got deliberately destroyed, and it ruined something special to a lot of people. But I won't be out there every day expressing my opinion. Having said that, I'll never give up on it. I'm still supporting the people who are still out there putting out things I agree with. Now, that brings me to this. This person here I've seen on Twitter quite a bit. Not sure how long, but probably at least a year or more, something like that. MG Warrior of Johnny. And they say, I'm leaving Twitter. The hatred and savage attacks from trolls commenting on any positive article about Johnny Depp is unbearable, and Twitter isn't doing anything about it, and they're never going to. I hate to tell you, but Twitter is on the side mostly of Amber fans and Amber's side because the mainstream media is, and the movie companies still basically are. Even if they start hiring back Johnny, they're still not actually reprimanding Amber or saying anything about her publicly, or even getting her out of Aquaman 2. So the thing we have is numbers. We've got sheer numbers, and they don't. What they are is Amber fans who are probably, I don't know, roughly at best about 10% of what Johnny fans are, probably less, but at best. And then they have the small groups of activists on the top in the companies, in the movie companies, in the mainstream media. But we have sheer numbers. And when our sheer numbers drop, and when we announce our numbers are dropping, well, that makes them happy. But I understand it gets, tiring. Day in and day out, defending, putting out the same opinion, and only changing minds very rarely. But that's what we got to do to upkeep the strength in numbers. And although Johnny Depp won, his supporters keep retrialing and talking about his abuser rather than moving on. It's like there was never a trial or Johnny lost. Sorry, but I'm sick of all this and I'm really demoralized. This is what I keep saying. This is what that umbrella guy said, is the verdict did certain things. The verdict did certain legal things. It kind of gave people permission to talk about Johnny and support Johnny in companies and people who have platforms who were scared to. So if they wanted to support Johnny, but the case wasn't over, they couldn't quite do it yet. But that verdict let people in on helping, so to speak. But it didn't actually do anything to the people opposed to Johnny. Blocking or hiding accounts that do this is useless because it always comes back endlessly. I will follow Johnny Depp news outside of Twitter, which has become too toxic and unlivable. Goodbye. And I gotta say, one other thing, and no offense, but you gotta have thick skin for this. You can't take it personally. You can't look at some tweets and be like, oh, these tweets are getting to me. How am I going to get through my day? How am I going to talk to my friends and my family? You just gotta put your opinion out there, click away, go to the next one, almost robotically. You don't want to make decisions like a robot. We make good decisions as human beings, but after we're decided, then the way you gotta put your opinion out there and keep going and get the good message out has to be somewhat robotic, somewhat like a machine. If you're too emotional and think about it and let it get to you, well, yeah, you're going to get overrun and they're going to get more support as time goes on. And some people pitched in, of course. Just block them one by one. I get pleasure from erasing them from my timeline. And Rhonda agrees blocking is the way to go. And the person down there says, I'm hearing you. I came to support, then left through the bitching. Then I came back, but it's gotten so freaking nasty on that side of things. I don't want to be a part of it. Take care of yourself either way. I wish you peace. And Leah says, don't let it get to you. The person down below says, don't leave Twitter. And Betty just says, block and ignore them. And I don't block anyone. I think it's a sign of weakness. It's best to learn how to have thick skin and take things and be tough about things. That's how you win, not by blocking and running and things like that. Now, I'm going to make a comparison with Donald Trump because it's relevant. Now, I don't care if you like Trump or dislike Trump, if you're on his side or not. The point is, what happened with the FBI really fired up his fan base, okay? So now Trump's fan base is about 10 times more fired up than they ever were to support him. That's because of this raid. Like I said, you agree with that, disagree with that, I don't care. But the fact is, it fired them up. Now, the same thing's happening here. Johnny won the case, and it fired up Amber's fan base more than ever. Now, the good news is, she doesn't have a big fan base to get fired up, but what is there is now 10 times more fired up. So, if Johnny fans kind of get like, I can't take it, forget Twitter, I'm done, the case is over, then you know what happens? The fans that are fired up are going to keep coming and coming and coming, and they're not going to stop, and they're going to gain more traction. And also, if this person is watching, I'd say stay on Twitter. You don't even have to read your goddamn tweets after you make them. Just tweet out what the facts and evidence are and leave it alone. That's it. You're putting your voice out there. You've got over 1,000 followers. That's great. So if you give up, then that makes us weaker. But that's your choice. And if you're not subscribed here, consider it. I'm doing shout outs, special thanks, things like that. If you don't subscribe, I'll be sad, but I'll get over it. See you next time.